and I'm sorry, I wasn't. I thought Robert was going to be here, so call the meeting to order. Let's do a roll call real quick.
I'm here.
Kelly Toon here.
Tammy Ramsey here.
Dan Brown here.
Ken Halliday here. Great,
Tracy
and then
Anderson here.
great, Tracy. Where are you? I guess you're off my screen. I'm glad you're here,
Oh,
Tracy.
sorry, I have a really bad migraine, so otherwise I
Oh,
would have
On
been
Zoom.
there.
oh, you're on Zoom.
Go
I'm
Zoom.
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And
Yeah.
here comes Robert.
Okay, great. Hello, Robert. Just in
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm
time.
late.
That's all right. We were just doing a roll call, so you're up.
Robert.
Okay, Robert is here. Okay. So we were just gonna all do the stand and pledge of allegiance. And then I'll turn it back to you, Robert. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, ball's back in your court, Robert.
Yeah, I thought, I had the.
The next is the approval of the regular agenda.
Okay, so does anyone have any amendments to the agenda?
No.
Nope.
Okay, then a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the regular agenda of the Historical Preservation Commission of Tuesday, March 17th, 2026.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. And then let's see, any comments on the minutes from December 16th?
I have none.
No.
None.
Motion to approve the minutes.
No.
Oh,
I'll do a motion to approve the minutes.
All in favor?
I
Aye.
Sorry, I need a second.
Unanimous approval. And then does anyone have a conflict of interest to declare tonight?
no.
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 Nope.
And, Madison, there's no one here. Is there anyone online for a public comment?
No, there isn't one on, no one online.
Okay, any special presentations?
No.
Nope.
No. Okay, so Madison, were there any business items?
There are not.
I'm sorry.
There are not.
Okay. Sorry you're feeling badly.
I apologize for how I'm sure my voice is coming across.
And we've all been there.
We hope you feel better than you sound.
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
I'm getting there.
Oh.
Okay, so then on to the historic resource survey update.
Yes, so we have Ron Sladek, our consultant, who did the historic update online. There he is on the screen. Sorry, Ron, didn't see you.
Hi, Ron. Thanks for coming tonight.
Sure. Thanks for letting me join in via Zoom.
No problem.
He
Would
did a
you
bunch
like
of
to,
work.
update us on the survey.
Sure. There are a couple things I want to run through with you. First of all, you guys should have received, I suspect you did, what I have shown as the final draft of the Historic Resources Reconnaissance Survey Report. Did you all receive that and have had a chance to look it over?
Yes, and I have one thing when we get to that.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be happy to hear any final comments you might have. You probably saw that I was able to get that history of Minturn fleshed out much more fully than I had it before the last time we looked at it.
Yeah.
There was a huge amount of work put into that section of the report, but I wanted to get it to a point where we could feel comfortable with how much was done. And so I took it up to that approximately 75-year mark, knowing full well that somebody at some point down the road could take it from there and pick it up and continue on with it. So I hope you guys do look at doing that at some point. I think there's wonderful history there still to be explored. Um, I also want to show you something that I came across just last week that is making me want to go back, and I am going to go back into the report and produce a final draft for you. I think I can share my screen with you guys, right?
You should be able to, but Zoom just changed their layout, so let me know if you have any issues.
Yeah, let's see. Here you go. I'm sending you a request to be able to share my screen.
Okay, I clicked allow.
Okay, good. Now let's see what happens. Oh yeah, here we go. I was down at the Denver Public Library last week, and I came across a photograph of Minturn that I have never seen before. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I'm going to share it with you. This astounded me.
Oh, wow. No,
Wow.
never seen that.
So I came across this. It's in Denver Public Library's collection, Western History Special Archives there. And
Wow.
I took a look at this and I thought, wait a second, what is going on here? And all of a sudden, a whole bunch of things started to click into place for me.
Hmm.
I had been coming across references in the old newspapers to a place called the American House in Minturn and the Stonewall liquor store and saloon, but I couldn't figure out where the heck they were. And this all of a sudden answered that question. This
Oh,
picture was taken, I'm sure, from the roof of the railroad roundhouse,
yeah,
looking basically south.
yeah.
There's where the Bellum Bridge is, right in the middle there, crossing the Eagle
Wow.
River, and heading right down Main Street, which was just like kind of almost looking like a dirt track. At the time, it was obviously a street, but not improved at all. So what I realized was, my gosh, the original commercial strip was actually where the Eagle River Inn and Minturn Saloon and YMCA building are now. We're on the right where you see the American House. That's where the Eagle River Inn stands. The
Wow.
Minturn Saloon to the left of that across the street. I couldn't make out the sign on the front of that building, unfortunately, where the Minturn Saloon stands. There are two buildings there.
Wow.
But then to the left of that, it says Stonewall. And where the Stonewall is, and to the left, where you see that big red cross, that's where the YMCA building now stands. So this just blew my mind. I couldn't
Wow.
believe it.
Gosh.
And this needs to be put into that report that I produced for you. The image, as well as some discussion based upon that image, to reflect the fact that the commercial, I don't know if I should call it a district even, but the original commercial buildings were in that original Block B of Bucco's edition, which faced north to the rail yard. And until I saw this photo, I had no idea that that was the case.
Hmm.
Excuse me, Ron, do you know when this photo was taken?
So I was looking into that. There's no date on the photo. However, based upon the businesses that were sitting there at this time that this photo was taken, I believe this to be around 1899 to 1900.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that something?
That really is. I've never seen that.
And I've never seen another
And
photo that shows any of this.
is the American House, was that a precursor? Like, was that the old hotel?
It was a precursor to the Eagle River Hotel.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I'd have to look a little more closely to determine, if I can, whether the American House turned into the Eagle River Hotel or if they literally tore it down.
It burned down. Yeah,
Oh,
I know
that's right.
that.
Well,
Yeah,
it
it
did
burned
burn
down.
down.
Not
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
and they
did burn.
totally rebuilt it and they reoriented it.
Right.
Reoriented it.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right. Yeah, I think it was 1909.
I read that somewhere in your
Yeah.
report.
Yes, it is in there. So
Ron-
anyway, yes.
Oh, can I ask you, where did you find it? How did you find it? Like,
I just was down at DPL and started looking through whatever materials they had on Minturn. And I was curious to see what they had sitting there in their collection. And this photo was among several that popped up.
wow.
Some of which I've already seen because they're also in the collection of the Eagle River Library, Eagle Valley Library District, and others I had not seen before. So some of them were very common photos, like of the Eagle River Hotel, for example. There are two different views of that. I'm looking through the photos here to see if there's, well, here's another one I could. Let me stop sharing on this one. So like I said, most of what I found there. Oh, shoot, hold on. I need to close this one. There we go. One moment. I'm just trying to open up something else. Oh, here's a really wonderful photo I hadn't seen of the, whoops, where is that? Trying to get another photo called up here, but it's giving me a problem. I don't know why.
Yeah. Hey, Ron, did you find any while you're doing that, just to ask you, uh, have you ever found any pictures? Oh, wow. I feel like I've seen that one.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah, somewhere.
It's obviously not a building, but it's a
Yeah,
wonderful
yeah, yeah,
photograph.
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. What were you asking?
Well, no, I mean, others may not have seen it. I didn't mean you to take it down. I was just going to ask you if you've ever seen any historic photos on there was quite a lettuce operation running out of Minturn. Had you ever seen any photos on that? All we have
No,
is the remnants of the old ice house.
I haven't.
Yeah, I was
No.
just curious.
So
I did
anyway,
purchase the book on roundhouses in Colorado and have one photo of it. The only other one is from a postcard that shows a faraway view of it through the smoke.
yeah. Let's see this one. Let's see if I can get this on the call up. There we go. Have you seen this one?
I I haven't. No, that's pretty
No,
cool.
but that's a good one because it shows the
That's
train.
Yeah.
It shows the train and the structures that were once there.
Wow. Yeah.
Ron,
That's
is
ins
that the turntable that's kind of raised out of the ground?
Yes, that's exactly what that is on the left.
Yeah.
Is the turntable.
Before they
Uh,
built the brick building.
You can see that it's basically set into a pit that was opened up in the ground. But that's the turntable.
That's cool.
Wow. That's a really cool one too. If you could make sure you include that one, I sure
Sure.
that's a cool one too. When you do your final,
Final, yeah.
final.
Yeah. So anyway, that's where I am with that. I do want to dip back into it for a little bit just to add a little bit more information to kind of flesh out the story of what was going on there with the early development. Other than that, Madison, did we hear anything back yet from the grants office?
No, but I apologize. I have not sent this last draft to them.
That's okay. They had the first draft, and they should have been able to comment on that. I'm sure that's on somebody's desk down there.
I'll
But
follow
we
up
do
with
want to
them.
get whatever comments they have ASAP so that we can get this report finalized. But I suspect they probably won't have too much that needs to be done.
I'll follow up with
Um,
Lindsay and fingers crossed I didn't miss
Yeah,
anything.
if you could, that'd be great. Actually, I know she's got it because I talked to her at the preservation conference a couple weeks ago
Oh,
about
perfect.
it. But you might want to ask her if let her know that there's another draft that you have in hand,
Mhm.
and just ask her if she'd like to see this one as well.
Okay.
The conclusions aren't going to change in the document. All that's going to change is I'll add a little bit more historical information and a couple more photographs of those historic photographs.
Hey, Ron, I was asking earlier about the lettuce. Did you, and pardon me if I missed it, because I had to start skimming because I didn't get a chance to read in total your historical background. It was really fascinating. I got through about two-thirds of it. Did you include anything on the lettuce? Because you covered railroad, you covered mining. But I wasn't sure I saw it in there, and I was just wondering.
It was in there, Ken.
It is okay, so that's great.
There's
Yeah,
a,
it's,
there's a reference to it and reference something about giving food to people, giving lettuce to people under some circumstance after a fire or something. Was that it?
no.
Well, I saw that, but I
I mean,
meant,
I
yeah,
just Googled, not Googled, I did a keyword search for the term lettuce. It appears only in one place in the
yeah,
document, and that is where I mentioned that the economy was not only driven by the railroad, but also by nearby farms and ranches.
yeah, I
Which
saw that. I saw
grew a
that.
variety of vegetables, and mentioned lettuce in particular was a major
Yeah.
crop. Yeah. Yep.
Well, the stuff I've read, I mean, part of what I'm interested in is the ability for people to connect to this story.
Hmm.
And I just think it's so interesting that we used to be one of the lettuce capitals right there, and there was ice cut, down
Yeah.
in, out of the lakes around there, and there was an ice house maintained in Minturn. I just thought that was very, very interesting history. Did you see any of that when you were researching? And do you think any of that's worthy of mentioning in the history?
Well, I can't get into too much detail in the document at this point with lettuce growing. However, um, I can add a little something because of the survey form that I just produced that you have in front of you.
Okay,
Because the Nelson family, in particular, they were among the biggest lettuce growers
right.
in the area, and I didn't know that offhand until I got into writing up the document on the Nelson House at 152 Main. So now that
Yeah.
that's done, I can add a little bit more about that.
I think that's in Pete's book, isn't it? In the Minturn book that Pete Burnett wrote, there's some section.
Yeah, yeah, there is material about that, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
if
Bill
if
Burnett, I'm sorry.
yeah, so if we could also take a look at the one of you mentioned that you had something else on the
I did. Do you remember in past conversations, I recommended we look into 442 Main, the Minturn Inn? Because that should be, if nothing else, a picture included in here. Because that house, I think, was built, I talked to the person who did the remodel on that, 1905, he thinks it was. And underneath that siding is a solid wood log house.
or log
So I don't
building?
know that we could ever make it historical, but it certainly would be nice to eventually look into the history of it.
I think that's something you guys ought to tackle on your next survey then. That's the way to get to it, is just tackle that, get that added, that address, that property to the next survey that you undertake, and then you'll get a full write-up on it.
Do we need to add it to the pictures in here that you did? Of all the other houses that were that old?
To give me the address again?
442 Main.
Whoops, I'm looking in the wrong document. Hold on one second. Is it not on the, it's not on the list, I think, or in the
No.
document
You spoke about it.
because the building has been so substantially altered. That's why. I mean, that's not to say there might be something old underneath what's currently there,
Correct.
but the integrity, the architectural integrity is so altered that I didn't include it in the study.
Well, what was said to me, and I haven't been in there in a while, but that a lot of the logs were left exposed on the inside of the building, but not the outside because they were in such bad shape.
Yeah. I mean, I would recommend that if you want to get that looked into, that property documented, again, that you just tackle it on the next survey that you do. Just like we're doing an intensive level of 10 specific properties right now, you could always add that to the next list. I don't know what good it would do to discuss it in the current report because of the poor integrity of the building.
That was just one question.
To do in that building.
Yeah.
42.
If we could take a look at the site form that you have in front of you that I believe was printed out for you.
Yeah, the inventory, architectural inventory form.
Yeah, architectural inventory form, yes. We also
Right.
call them a site form. I know you haven't had a chance to read through it or anything, but I wanted to just walk through it real quickly with you since this is the first one that you're seeing in front of you.
Great.
So this is what I'm producing on each of the 10 properties that you guys highlighted at our last meeting. I just decided to go with the Nelson House, or what you know as Helen's house, first. And you'll see that in there, this is a standard form that's used by the state. This is what is required that we use for intensive level survey projects. And so this entire form, 18 pages, just covers that one property. And you'll see as you scan through it that there's a detailed architectural description, mention of the setting of the property and what other buildings or structures or anything are on the property itself. And then starting at the bottom of page 3, we get into the architectural history and then historical associations, meaning what is this property all about in terms of its history? And this took a lot of work. It takes even though this is only basically a page and a half of writing, it's a huge amount of work to do the research to get that page and a half of history pulled together. You can see that in the following pages where I've got all the bibliography, the sources of information that were used. So I had to locate all that information. And again, that all started with a title search to figure out the chain of ownership historically on that property. What I found was, the assessor's records state that house was built in 1881, but what I found through the research was that it was actually built, I'd say a 90% chance of it, in 1891, a decade after the assessor's record says it was built. Bucco's addition to the Minturn was established in February of 1891. So you wouldn't have had a house built on a main street 10 years earlier because there was no main street. And the addition itself, platted in February 1891, and then the Elof Nelson and his wife got married the day before they bought this property, this lot. And the price of the lot indicates that it was vacant at the time. They paid $225 for the lot.
Is there a possibility that there is a tent-like structure before it? I know Red Cliff had a lot of tent structures that turned into wooden buildings later on.
Yeah, tent structures didn't survive. They were meant to be temporary. I've never seen a tent structure that turned into a house. I've seen log buildings that have turned into a house where they encased the logs in lath and plaster walls. But there's no indication. I found absolutely nothing to tell us that house is anything older than 1891. And again, the purchase price was so low that it indicates that this was a vacant lot that they were purchasing. But the purpose of this research and write-up is to pin down the actual facts about a property. And so here you have a whole write-up based upon the title search that was done, combined with a lot of newspaper articles and all kinds of other biographical records to piece together. It's like putting together a jigsaw puzzle, a whole history of this single property. So in fact, it was with the Nelson family from the very beginning until Helen's death a century later. They were in that house for an entire century.
Wow.
And in here, I do talk about the Nelsons being major growers of lettuce.
Yeah, lettuce king.
The lettuce king of Eagle County. Yeah.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. And the census records show them, as best I could tell, in that house. The biggest problem with Minturn in terms of doing research is that there are no records that show street addresses. The census records didn't include any street addresses on the houses. Newspaper articles didn't include any street addresses. Nothing included street addresses, which is kind of a unusual situation, and it makes it even more challenging. So you have to kind of go based upon the lot the legal description, you know, the lot and block number, and the piecing together all these facts that start to tell a story of what happened with that particular property. So anyway, further down in that document on page page 8, that's where the significance section starts. Page 8, and then for the next few pages, I built a section that addresses local landmark eligibility. Took that right out of the Minturn Municipal Code, and then it talk about the bottom of page 9, the analysis of the local significance of the property, what makes it significant or not significant in light of the code. And then below that, we get into on page 11, the question about National Register eligibility. And that's found on pages 11 and page 11 here. So, and then everything else beyond that is some photos and diagram and site map and all of that. So basically with this house, what I concluded was that it is eligible for local landmark designation. And on the lower half of page 8, you'll see the 2 check marks or X's next to what I believe it's eligible for locally in connection with persons significant in history. That's specifically the Nelson family, and especially the family of Ben Nelson and Sig Nelson, because they were operating their ranch nearby. There seemed to be no buildings left on the ranch. And I'm saying that because I looked on Google Earth and searched and searched and searched, and I couldn't find any ranch buildings that are older up there in the area where their property was. So this house then best represents the family, even though they owned other properties in town, because this is where they were living and they were managing their ranch beyond a certain point from that house, because they ended up living in that house much of the time. It also is representative of a specific architectural style. And again, that's discussed on the following pages. And it's a great example of that style of architecture in general, but also more specifically in Minturn. It's one of the best examples of the gable L house. That's a form of architecture that you have left in town. And then the National Register evaluation is that it is not individually eligible, but that it would contribute to a historic district if one were established. So it could be eligible as part of a grouping of buildings, but not on its own.
Ron, it said in there that the ranch was south and southwest. Can you be more specific, like relative to the Boco claims? Was it part of one of those, or is it further away?
It was separate from the Bucco claims. It was just to the west and southwest of the Bucco claims, just beyond them. So up the hill to the west of town was where the Nelson Ranch was, and west and southwest.
There are a couple of...
if you go to page 14, that might help to go to page 14 here on your that property form, the architectural inventory form. You see a site location map. You probably don't have my project report in front of you, right?
Yeah, we have it.
Oh, you do have it? That might be a better way to look at this. Hold on one second. Because that in that one, if you can pull that out, that actually shows the Bucco claims on page 7. Yeah, page 7. Let's go to that instead. If you can go to the project report to page 7, and you see there's a topographic map there.
Yep.
Okay, so, and you see on the left, it says George Bucco claim.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so section 27, you'll see along the left edge of that map. Do you see the number 27?
Yep.
And then directly below that, you see 34 down toward this lower left corner of that map. Those are sections 27 and 34. The Nelson's Ranch was just outside the dashed lines to the left of the George Bucco claim, and then down into section 34. as well. That was the ranch that was founded by Ben Nelson and his sons.
So it's sort of an L around the Buku claim.
Yes, yes. An L around the Bucco claim and then also down into 34.
So there are two old log cabins up there, right?
Yeah.
So
Without roofs
one
up
of
there.
one of them's in the Buku claim. The other one's further up, isn't it? Is that little square right there? That's
Switchback. It's
that's the first one.
Yeah, it's probably that.
That's the first one. But where's the second one? Is it? Let's say it's right over here.
They're all over here.
Thought there was another one up here, though.
I think there's a small, I'm trying to remember. I haven't been up that way for one.
Anyway,
So my guess is that the Bucco family probably was not living in a log cabin. They might have been initially when they first settled there, but they were pretty successful. And most ranchers and farmers who gained any level of success got themselves out of a log cabin and into an actual house before too long. And I don't know where that house was located on that ranch property, but there's nothing that shows up on these maps. And this was from 1987. And there's nothing that shows up on Google Earth today that looks like a historic house sitting up there anywhere.
on this map on page 7 of your report, there is in that section 27 across the creek and a little bit to the north, there is a log cabin that shows up as just a little square.
The black square or the open square?
Directly above number 27, alongside.
Oh, yeah.
Do you see
I
that
see that
blue-
up there.
Do you see that little blue square?
Yeah.
That is an existing log cabin.
Or the remnants of
Remnant.
roof collapse, but
But I don't
the
know-
walls are still up.
Is that further north than their claim?
Yes, it is. Yeah, their claim ran through the middle of 27. So if you take that dotted line from the Bucco claim and run it right through the 27, from there to the south was their claim.
Okay.
And I don't see anything there. So, I don't know what else to say about that.
Hold it there.
It's on Forest Service land.
Is it within town limits though?
And they were moving between the ranch and their
Yeah, Forest Service
house in
land.
town on a regular basis. As I mentioned in the site form, it was very common, and I did see references to this, specifically to Minturn, that a number of the area ranchers did maintain homes in town. Because during the winter months, there wasn't much to do on their ranches, except for maintain the livestock. And they often wanted their wives and kids to live in town to go to school, so they didn't have to negotiate, getting in and out of town on a daily basis. It was just easy for them to stay in town through the winter. And then often the men would run back and forth between the ranch and the house in town.
So Ron, I also heard, I think I heard a long time ago that the Nelsons moved cattle to the south end of town, which is basically the Battle Mountain property.
Mhm.
And there's remnants of a cattle ranch down there. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that they also own that at some point.
The Nelsons or the Buccos?
I'm not sure. One of the two families,
Yeah.
I think I remember reading
and
something.
there's still remnants of a dairy farm down there,
Oh, okay.
which is kind of past Malloy Park towards the switchbacks, Tiggawan Road.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to remember. I remember hearing something about it. And then on your page 15, which is the site diagram, you have a outbuilding, you call it,
Yeah.
and that was the dairy where the creamery building where they separated the cream.
You're talking about on the property at 152 Main?
Yes.
Okay. I was wondering if
So
they were
I
doing
know a
something.
little bit about the property because I remodeled it
Mhm.
a few years ago, and we even found one of the milk caps that had the Nelson logo on it,
Okay.
and
That's
we turned
great.
it into a sign, and it's now on the building. But there's remnants of kind of a trough and in in the uh, book on Minturn, it talks about there being a stream, and they kept the milk and cream cold. The stream ran through the building and had an open pit where they kept everything cool.
So
And
that's so I did find a reference to a building that the way I don't remember where it was and what document now, but it might have been one of the news. In fact, I think it was in a newspaper. Mentioned that there was a dairy related building that they owned that was behind the house, but it said that it was across the alleyway. They referred to it as an alleyway where Eagle River Street is.
there might have been another one, but I know we
Yeah.
found actual remnants in there that supported it
Okay.
in the walls when we remodeled it.
That's
And
great.
I did have Ralph Myers walk through there, who's the Myers barn that we're trying to save. And he had memories of it. And he also had memories of huge chunks of meat hanging in one of the rooms off the kitchen on huge meat hooks, which was kind of interesting. And one of his first jobs when he was 5 years old, he got his hand caught in the big creamery churn and still has had a scar on his hand from when he was a young child working there.
Okay, great. Well, I will reclassify that as a milk house.
I
I'm
don't know
a little
exactly.
under,
I know it's where they separated the cream and churned the cream,
yeah, that's what I
which
was
is funny
wondering.
that it was in this house and not, on the hillside on the ranch or something closer to the cows.
Yeah. Well, I guess they were hauling it into town and then processing it here in
But
the
it's in,
backyard.
Bill Burnett's book talks about it. And also another interesting thing when I remodeled the place, there is a fire that almost destroyed the entire building. I'm wondering if you found any dates on that.
There were a
So
lot of references to fires in town, as you saw in
yeah,
the project report, but they never once said anything where you could identify where they were. Um,
so
well, let
the
me
weird.
rephrase that. They provided names. They said in the so-and-so house or the whatever so-and-so commercial building, but you'd have to do a bunch more research to figure out, well, where exactly did that building stand? Um,
Well, well, the odd thing is that I had to repair all the headers on the trim above the doors because every piece of varnished wood, which still had the rosette in the corner,
uh-huh.
and it's quite elegant for our town in that time. But the casing going down to the ground is all original, but the headers all got charred at one point, and
Interesting.
they reused them sometimes throughout the house as other backer boards,
Yeah.
which was interesting. And anytime I pulled the walls out, all the upper framing and the roof structure, every single piece of wood is charred.
Wow.
So as a ex firefighter, I believe that it flashed over and blew itself out
Hmm.
because I mean everything's intact and nothing looks like it got rebuilt, but every piece of wood in the roof structure is charcoal.
Wow.
But it didn't get burned beyond a certain point. So I think it burned itself out somehow because I don't see how they could have put it out. And so we did in the kitchen leave a little truth wall, and you can see I polyurethaned it, and you could see all the charred lumber and that's in every single wall of that house.
Yeah. I'm
And we did
surprised I
find a
didn't come
newspaper under
across.
the linoleum floor from 1945, I believe, Christmas Day. and it has the movies that playing across the street at the movie house, and they're pretty cool.
Paper was,
Jane Moore still has it. It was the last year of the Redcliffe Shaft, I believe.
you gotta get that.
I think the Redcliffe Shaft, it was the last year was 1945. But it was pretty fun to, and I found the one board that had writing that said the Coke Lumber Yard, and they're buried at the cemetery. And we also preserved that board and flipped it around so you could read it in the mudroom.
Mhm.
But that was the lumber yard, and a lot of other huge connections with the mine and all that.
It- Is the house being used as a single family residence now?
Currently, yes.
I thought so. I mean,
The
when I was in
couple that remodeled it went through a divorce in the last couple of years. He's actually living next door, and she's now took over that house, but it was a bed and breakfast for a little bit. And
that's what I was wondering if it might have been.
it's
I actually met her. I was in the out behind the property taking some photos and notes, and she came over to talk to me. So the way she was talking, I got the impression she was living in the house.
yes, she just moved in actually.
Okay, but then when I saw there was a sign out front saying Helen's house, and then I thought, well, is this like an Airbnb or what is going on here?
It was for a few years.
Okay, got it.
And Larry, who actually he still has connection with the Nelson family, which I don't know if you would like, but Larry was on the history board here. And he does still have the contacts for the Nelsons, and has talked to them and tried to get a lot of information on the house and he lives next door.
Okay.
But he knows a lot of he's actually talked to the existing members of the Nelsons, and I believe they possibly bought it a long time ago from the Nelsons, because her dad used to live there. Jane.
When they first came to this area.
Yeah,
Then
they lived there, and then they moved to Eagleville after their dad he couldn't make it into the bathroom because you had to climb over the clawfoot tub in the bathroom. It was just an insane thing, and her elderly dad couldn't walk over the tub to get to the toilet.
That's a crazy arrangement.
So they moved, rented it out for say 20 years, and then before COVID, we remodeled it so that they could return.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway,
that's about
so
as much as I know.
Yeah, I appreciate all that.
And we did replace the windows because they were so bad, but we did. I did keep one of the original windows just to show what they look like in the living room. And
did you install the window that's in the upper front gable?
Yeah.
So that there was no window there originally.
There was framing there for a window, so
okay. So there was an existing.
We didn't. The only place on the back side of the house is the only place where we renovated the bathroom and added windows.
Okay.
And the kitchen.
All right. So I'm working now. I'm working on the house across the street at 151 Main. In fact, here's all my big pile of research here. And that was also owned by the Nelson family. That's those two houses, 151 and is it 155? I believe
151 and 155 were owned by the sons, and the mom and dad lived across the street.
Yeah, Arthur owned one of them, but Ben and then Sig owned the other one. So
in your report, you're calling both of the houses 151 still.
What's that?
The 155 you're still calling as 151 in the report that I read.
I thought do you know where that is?
Yeah, I took a photo of it.
155. No, I've got them changed. I mean, on pages 38, 39.
No, I don't. In the report that's in our packet, it still has it as 151. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know what page number.
to 155, the yellow one. We've talked about that back and forth.
The
The
title
blue
of
house is
the
151, the yellow house is 155. And
the
that's on page
title the
Oh,
title of this
it's on the I need to correct it on
photo.
the caption for the photo.
Yeah.
That's what I need to do.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
And then
thought
I
had
did
done that already.
on the, it's not a huge deal, but you talk about the history of the mine. I don't know what page it is, but you talk about Rock Creek and you mention it's below Red Cliff. Technically, it's below Gilman. But you do, which is Red Cliff was several miles away from Gilman and Belden. But Rock Creek basically,
On page 4.
I don't have the page number.
Yeah, it's on page 4. So I say it reached Rock Creek below Red Cliff. So you want me to change that to
I mean,
Gilman?
technically, Red Cliff is about what, three or 4 miles away from Rock Creek.
Okay.
So it'd be Gilman would be the
Okay.
correct term.
Got it. Okay. That's on page 4. Okay. I'm making notes here.
Everything else looks good that I know of. But
Okay. Appreciate that. Yeah, this is the moment to clean up any final things. So that's great. And the write-up for 151 Main, I'll have over to you guys by the beginning of next week. And we'll just continue on with these. And I'll get this milk house identified correctly on the property at 152 Main Street.
yeah, I guess the creamery or I know it's where they made the cream and separated the cream.
Yeah, they weren't. It's not that they were milking the cows there.
Well, we have the sign.
The sign said creamery?
Just said Nelson Dairy,
Nelson. Dairy Home.
but I from Mr. Myers is where I found out that that's what the building was used for.
Okay, that's
Because
great.
as a child, worked in it, and the ice house also.
All right, great.
Well, thank you so much for your continued effort, both finding the other photos and then adding that information, as well as picking up all these odds and ends.
Sure. You're welcome. Thank you. Other than that, I'll just be getting more documents in your hands so that we can get this project wrapped up. It has to be done by June 1st. So you're going to see these site forms, the architectural inventory forms, coming in about once a week. You'll see them coming in. As I send them to Madison, she'll get them over to you. And if you have any comments on them, please get them back to me, within a week or two if you can. These are the shorter forms, so I can get them corrected and we can get them wrapped up and on their way to Denver for final approval.
So Madison, since we won't meet for another month or so, will you just forward those along to everybody?
Yeah, I'll forward them along, and then if you could email, or in the case of Lynn, drop by with written comments if you have any, that would be great.
Sure thing. Thank you.
Yeah, if you could get those to Madison, that would be great, and then she can forward them to me.
Perfect.
Oh, and one other thing on the Nelson house.
Yeah.
That was kind of interesting. And it's shown in the photo on the back page is in the front porch, there was 2 different doors. One led
Yes. Right.
to the room with the bay window. And I'm wondering if that was used as his business office at one point, because it's kind of weird to have 2 front doors to a house within 2 feet of each other.
Actually,
Both
that was a real common feature on this style of house, that they had 2 front doors. The door on the left with the bay window, typically it went into the parlor,
right.
and you would have people use that when they'd come visit. The main door would be considered to be entering the personal space of the family. You remember that, in those days.
So it wasn't necessarily an office. It was just the
there was formality back in those days in terms of what was considered family's private space and what was their public space where visitors could come visit. And so when folks and they did host all kinds of gatherings in the house, card games and things like that, and teas and that sort of thing. And when visitors would come to one of these houses in a gabled L, they would often have a door going directly into the parlor so that people could come into the parlor and then leave out that door and not enter the private space of the family, which would be their dining room, their kitchen, the bedroom area, the bathroom area. They were expected to come into the more formal area, even in a small house like this. So
Okay.
I've seen a lot of these on gabled L's where they had two front doors.
On the home in Buena Vista, that was just like that.
Yeah.
Well,
And sometimes,
unfortunately, someone got rid of the doors along the way.
yeah. And by the
And,
way, this style, they were also built as two stories. And so the same gabled L, but sometimes it was a two-story house.
There is a very old steep staircase, and the upstairs. The reason why there's a new window is because it's all bedrooms, three different bedrooms,
Mhm.
one in each gable, and
Yeah.
so you need egress windows. But the staircase, to me, as far as I know, is at least very, very old and somewhat original. So, but I
Yeah.
don't know.
I got the impression that the attic was activated probably fairly early on, but there's no direct discussion of it in the
No, and the trim was
newspapers.
simpler, but it was still old, but wasn't as nice, obviously, as the downstairs.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, Ron, thanks for writing the first comprehensive history of Minturn.
You're welcome. I hope it gets a lot of great use for you.
Yeah, it's a
Uh,
great piece to work from.
That's
Thanks.
good. I'm glad to hear it. And there's always more that can be done, but I was trying to be pretty thorough. What I
Yeah.
didn't talk about, as I think I mentioned, is I didn't talk a lot about the families, the people. This was more a history of the development of the town. And so, when you get into Bill Burnett's book, you're looking at more about the people. And if you were to go on to into the old newspapers, there's a lot in there about the people of Minturn. But this was meant to be more a history of the development of the town. So there's more room somebody could do down the road in the way of a lot of additional research and writing.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, thanks,
Thanks
guys. I
very much, Ron.
appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
Yeah, we'll be
appreciate
in
all your
touch.
help with this as well. Bye-bye.
Bye.
It's funny how this house is now.
So,
But elements of it still exist.
so the next item on our agenda is the historic preservation plan update. And Madison, so you don't have to talk too much. Has everybody read the analysis that was provided?
Yes.
Mhm.
Do we, I guess I'll ask Madison a simple question. Do we want to take action on anything at this stage, or is it just more informational?
This was more informational. Like, obviously, there was a lot of brainstorming that went into the first iteration, the 2022 Historic Preservation Plan. So I'm certainly not, like, if you have any input, great. But if you just wanted to kind of take this and mull this over and maybe workshop it yourselves and come back with proposed objectives and action items, we can do that too.
Okay, maybe that would be a good approach, is if everyone could review it and then perhaps send Madison an email with the things that you think should become our new objectives and action items. And using her, proposed examples as a starting point. But if you have other things that you think might expand on that or clarify it, does that sound like a good approach for everybody to sort of take a stab at it, and then we can come back and meet about it the next time around?
Yeah.
Is there anything in particular anyone would like to discuss regarding the analysis?
Robert, I had one thing. I don't know if it fits here or maybe it fits in commission comments or someplace, but I'll go ahead and interject it here. And that is, Kelly made reference to it earlier. This June, we'll be moving the historic Myers Horse Barn out to the amphitheater. We've been working. I just wanted to give a real quick update on it, but it relates to these goals. One of the goals in here, let me bring it back to that. One of the goals in here is around creating awareness with the community, and it's really the one that we haven't done much on it yet, promoting the benefits and expanding public awareness, the second goal. And I think there's a big opportunity, and we've already talked to the town and the town manager and as well as Cindy. So Rob and Cindy are on board with creating some boards that we, if we want to write them up, that they'll publish them for us or create them that tell a little bit about the history and what we're doing and create a little bit of awareness around the Minturn historic preservation effort in Minturn. And I don't know if it's made its way to you yet, Madison, but I know Rob was going to ask if you could take a first run at some brief history of the Minturn, of the Myers barn, what it was used for, who the family was, and then we were also going to create a sign around the project itself. So we'll collaborate offline on that, Madison. I don't want to put you through that now, but I just wanted to update the group since this started with HPC and let everybody know that it's happening, and it'll give us some nice exposure and get the community to start to think maybe differently, or at least maybe just create some awareness, which will start to address our second goal.
Sounds great, Ken. I think that's wonderful that will be part of that project.
Yeah. Otherwise, I thought your suggestion's a good one.
Does anyone else have any comments, Rowan, about the objectives?
About the plan update? Or?
Yes.
Okay, no. I do have some comments under commission comments.
Okay. So if that's all for the plan update, let me get back to the agenda.
I would say just at some point we ought to refresh these goals formally. I guess you're saying that we'll come back to them.
Yeah,
What?
so in the draft that I provided, I had kind of crossed through the ones already
Right.
accomplished, and theoretically those would be the ones that we replace with new goals and action items.
Great. So we'll be thinking about those, and I just think we ought to come back at some point and hit those, actually create the goals. Okay, great.
Yeah, and so I think that's the goal here, is to take what Madison provided us and for each member to send her an email with what you think should become the new goals going forward.
Okay,
And we can formalize that at a later meeting.
Mhm.
sounds good.
Okay, so any staff report, Madison?
No, I don't.
Okay, good. I'm glad you don't have to talk.
Yeah.
Any
Keep lying.
Any other
Just doesn't want to talk.
Historic Preservation Commission comments?
In the last day, I've talked to Kathy Hiker, and between the town of Minturn, the library district of Eagle County, and the Historical Society, they acquired enough money to have 200 of Malcolm's books printed. So
Wow.
the town manager will be getting some for us, for the town to sell. I've ordered a few for myself. Tammy asked some, because they're going to be selling them through the museum down in Eagle also. But we did get some printed. And then Cindy has been working on the walking map and said it's gone to get printed, or whoever's making it. So we'll have a self-walk map people can pick up and go through town. Madison went and you ordered the brass plaques, correct, Madison?
Yes.
Yes, but we just don't know when they will be arriving yet, but it takes a while. So that is taken care of. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. And Rob is considering possibly talking to Cindy about putting a booth in the market this summer, all about Minturn. So those books there, that kind of thing. I'm trying to, there's a possibility we'll get Malcolm to come and do a book signing, and he could do it in that booth. Kathy says he loves talking history. He'd be great to do that. And he's said he would like to do that. We haven't pulled that together yet. And then that's places these books and things can be sold also. And I've got the posters left from last year's book, the ones I have left we can do. And I have some of Bill Burnett's books. I'm also trying to communicate with the family because we're running out of theirs. So I'm investigating possibly us taking over, getting that printed for another round. But they've got to get back to me because it's just the yeah, it's a copyright infringement you got to be careful about.
Sure.
So I think that was all I had.
That sounds great. Thanks for all your effort on that.
Yeah, that's all great stuff, Lynn.
Any other commission comments?
No.
Any future agenda items that someone would like to see brought up?
I'd like to just ask, because I don't want Madison to respond, but I read an article recently about History Colorado funding some grants for moving historic buildings. And you don't need to respond now, but I was just curious if you've heard of anything like that, and if so, if it's relevant, maybe we can talk about that at a future meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in Redstone on Sunday and grabbed their little newspaper, and there was an article on that, and the town received $250,000 from History Colorado, and then Pitkin County matched the grant to give them a total of 500,000 to purchase one of the small houses in Redstone to be used as a better history museum than the little cabin they have now.
Okay, well, maybe, yeah.
When she has her voice back, maybe she can talk to us about that.
Yeah, I can certainly look into that. I had no
Yeah. Yeah, Kelly, either you or I can send that. Kelly Surf, he's the one that found the article, but I forgot where I read that from. Kelly, I'm sorry.
I sent it to you.
Yeah, that's right. No, I'm giving you full credit now. I just couldn't remember. Senior moment.
A portion of the article, but I have it at home.
Yeah, maybe you could send that article to Madison. It might help her.
Yep.
Sounds good. All right. I think that wraps up. Any more
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
everybody. Thank you,
Thank you.
Madison, for
Bye-bye.